I just returned from the Feeding America annual conference in Atlanta, Georgia, and it got me thinking about food banking and the future of food banking in particular. Um, we've been sponsors of the John Van Hengel Award since 2005, so over 20 years. And we're honored to be a part of that legacy. John Van Hengel started food banking in 1967 out in Phoenix, Arizona. He was a young man working at St. Mary's, um, feeding hungry people in his community, and then realized we can do a lot more than just providing a lunch or a meal a few times a week, and decided to develop a concept called a food bank, where they could store up some food and then distribute it to people in need. Well, that idea caught on um, once it was started in 1967 in Phoenix. People started paying attention across the country, and people started thinking we could do that in our community as well. And so food banks started to pop up all over the country in New Jersey, in Detroit, in Oklahoma City, and other places. But the early days, it was very grassroots. The guys who founded or the people who founded the food bank um, was looking for anything they could do to help their community. And so it was very grassroots in its original days. They looked for resources all over the place. I remember a real funny story that was told by the director of the Oklahoma Food Bank, Rodney Bivens, that somebody said, "We'd like to donate some chickens. There's some chicken to you." And so he said, "Sure, we'd love to take the chicken," not realizing that these were live chickens. And so he tells a story of corralling chickens in the parking lot of the food bank in the early days, just with the idea of helping his community with food that was available to them. Um, these stories continued all over the country. And little by little, before you know it, the network grew. Network grew to 200 food banks. And today it's a little over 200 food banks throughout the country. Each community has its own. And as it grew, the food banks decided we should form a network. And so in the early days, it was called America's Second Harvest. And again, it was very grassroots, just people getting together, sharing ideas, sharing what works, what doesn't work, getting together on a regular basis, and then taking those ideas back to their community to help improve their service. That really was Food Bank 1.0, the early days of Food Bank. So much fun, so much activity, so many things just organically growing in each community. The unique thing about the network, though, was that every food bank was different. Everyone that was started was independent. They're their own 501c3s, and they were networked, but they weren't run by a top-down organization. Um, but all of a sudden, in the 2000s, things really dramatically changed when some of the natural disasters occurred. Hurricane Katrina was one of them in 2005, where the food banks got together and said, we really need to improve our service during emergencies. We need to use our network for the greater good. And then in 2008, during the financial recession, again, it was really clear when people were losing their jobs, losing their homes, that there was a real need in the community. And hunger was one of those things that grew rapidly during that time. And the community decided we needed to do something about it. But the federal government also paid attention to this. And so in what we would call Food Bank 2.0, the organizations and the network got much more organized and much more sought after as a resource for the entire country, not just the individual communities. So in the 2000s, the food bank networks grew dramatically. Donors responded as well once they understood. In the early days of food banking, and I remember these days, people would often ask me, what is a food bank and how does it work? And what does it do? And I would have to explain to people all the time, this is what a food bank, how it works. This is what it does. It doesn't distribute food directly to individuals. Oftentimes it's distributing through a partner agency like a church or a local food pantry or a soup kitchen. Um, And so as you explained it in the early days, people said, oh, that's a really good idea. I want to support this. But then when they saw the results during the natural disasters or the financial recessions, they realized, boy, this is a really powerful network and it can do a lot of good. Well, when COVID-19 hit our country in 2020, it was really evident at that time that the Food Bank network had matured and grown and developed into a powerful organization. In fact, Feeding America became and is today um, the new name of the network. And it is also the largest nonprofit in the country because people trusted and looked to the food bank to distribute good to the community. Now, recently, the food banks have gone through a little challenge because they just were informed by the current administration that they would be losing quite a bit of their resources. The USDA is cutting back almost $1 billion of federal assistance that was going through the food bank has been cut back. Some of it was through TFAP, the Emergency Food Assistance Program. The others through a purchase program that would give money to the food banks to purchase food from their local farmers and growers. These programs both were cut back. But it's got people thinking, as we returned from the conference last week, people are asking, what does the future look like? And the future looks to be a challenge. As resources dry up from the federal level, it's going to depend more and more on the food banks becoming wiser and more knowledgeable about the resources that they have to work with. That includes their donor base too. We know nowadays that the donors are looked at as a valuable resource to the entire project of helping alleviate hunger in this country. But it's going to take some work. Here at BCA, we've started using advanced analytics to really understand our donors and our donor journeys. We're using AI now as a tool to fully understand how a donor engages with the organization and what they're looking for and how they are motivated to give. And then also to make sure that we maintain trust. And to do so, one of the keys for all the food banks is making sure that we tell the real stories of life change that's occurring. And this is not easy. I'm so proud of our team here at BCA that they help gather these stories and help tell these stories in a way that is compelling and inspires people to action. But the future of food banking is going to take a lot of work as the food resource becomes scarcer and scarcer. The food bank is going to work harder and harder to make sure that no food goes to waste in this country, but it gets to people in a timely fashion, in a way that's healthy, in a way that helps them and their family during their time of need. And it's also going to depend on making sure they understand the donors and what the donors want to do and how they want to contribute to their community. So the future of food banking is going to take some work. And I just wanted to say that our team here at Brad Cecil Associates is prepared to help each and every food bank prepare for that future and develop what is going to be Food Bank 4.0, the future of food banking. And if you need some more help, by all means, reach out to our team and let us know how we can help you understand your donor base and also understand the profound challenges that exist in making sure that we alleviate hunger in this country. Thank you so much.